Portuguese in 1842 to deal in ivory, gold, and slaves. And you can see it's strategically located by the sea, and I'm standing by the armory. I'm trying to attack. Jum, 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 jum. Growing up in life, I made a lot of wrong choices, but God saved me with His mighty hand. Read my book, Who Am I That I Am? It is a story of my life. It is about the redeeming power of God. My book, Who Am I That I Am, is sold worldwide on Amazon. Thank you. This is Ghana, Elmina Castle, and that's the fort, the Elmina Fort. Right up there is the Elmina Fort. This is the Elmina Castle once again. Beautiful. At the entrance to the Elmina Castle, Central Region, Ghana. What's your name, madam?
I'm Veronica.
Veronica.
And actually, I have a tour agency in Mali, in Bamako.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I'm here for exploring the country, to bring my tourists here.
Oh, that's nice.
And I definitely will bring them to Elmina.
Oh, that's nice. So what do you think about Ghana? You know, Elmina, everything. What do you think about Ghana, everything?
I find it great. It's a nice country, nice people, very good.
Oh, nice to meet you, madam. Lovely architecture, you know. Beautiful. But it's sad what happened here. The slavery and all of that. It's so sad. The slavery. Hello, sir. What's your name, sir? What's your destination here, sir?
Well, just make it a tour.
Okay, that's nice. Thank you, sir. You're Mr. Atuisha. That's nice. I'm Adeola Taiwo. And then this is my show, Adeola's World.
Adeola's World?
Yes.
Wow.
So thank you. So you're going to be showing us the castle?
Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. So where do we start?
You first and foremost get to know that this is the biggest and the oldest in the world when we talk of transatlantic sea. Yeah, so it was actually built by the Portuguese in 1482. The two and also to spread Christianity. And when they came initially, they were Catholics. Before the 16th centuries, all the rooms on the ground floor were being used as
okay, I'm a bit confused, sir.
Right.
When they came in, the Portuguese, they came to spread the slaves and also to spread the gospel.
When they came, they tried to make us understand that we were for normal trade, as in gold and ivory, and later on brought in spices. From 1500s, then they shipped up in gold to
Portuguese as Catholic. Portuguese Catholic.
Portuguese Catholic.
So they were masquerading as people of God. Meanwhile, they had an agenda. Is that what you're trying to say?
We say that based on the circumstances that led to the starting of the trade business, you can suggest that.
It's sad.
It is.
Nice to meet you. So you're going to educate us. We do not know anything.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
So the rooms actually on the ground floor were storerooms, and then from the 1500s we shifted from gold and others to slave trade, and these became the holding cells where the slaves were kept. And from the castle in all
Those stores, the cells.
Yes, all these rooms. Yes.
All these rooms, the windows. The cell windows? Wow.
Now the
Male slave dungeon. Wow. Slave dungeon.
So we had a minimum of 1,000 here.
Wow, at the time.
600 women, 800 women.
This is, once again, the Elmina Castle. We're going into the dungeon, the female section of the dungeon. This is so sad. But thank God, we're free now.
Europeans came over here to trade. Sadly, most of them never brought their wives or their women because they were dying of malaria and yellow fever, even to the extent that the coastal line was then termed to be the white man's grave. And when they got in also, they could not stay without them. So governors, soldiers, traders kept on abusing the women sexually in the dungeons. And whenever the governor wanted, because of his position, he stood up on the balcony, ordered the women out and made his choice. The one chosen could have been in the dungeons for whom never cleaned her teeth, never took a bath or bathe, gone through menses sometimes, and still the governor wanted. So the soldiers had the responsibility of making sure she was washed. How did they do it? They fetched water from here. They washed the woman at the center of the courtyard. Women from the dungeons looked on. After the humiliation, she was dressed up, given something to eat, at least to be strong. And up on the flight of stairs here, we call it private access to the governor's bedroom. These are the stairs that lead the woman up to the governor. There's a door on top called the trap door. After the governor had used her in most cases, he never stayed with her after she was brought back to the dungeons. And sometimes before she got back, she could have been used by some of the guys also. Very few of them became mistresses and they stayed longer, and those who became pregnant were literally unfriended.
Growing up in life, I made a lot of wrong choices, but God saved me with His mighty hand. Read my book, Who Am I I Am? It is a story of my life. It is about the redeeming power of God. My book, Who Am I Am, is sold worldwide on Amazon. Thank you.
This area was the governor's kitchen.
Okay,
Yes.
and that side,
We have a Dutch church. The church was called the Dutch Reformed. And on this side we have what we call the SS mess, where they were eating and drinking. And on this side we have the boardroom where they have meetings.
They were soldiers here abusing the women, and then there was also a priest here.
Yes.
So what was the priest doing? What was his role? What was he doing?
Well, prior to the slave trading, you can say that they were into evangelism or missionary works. But when the slave trading got started, it probably got to a peak. The responsibility of a pastor in the castle were limited to 3. You counsel people when they are going to die, bury them when they die. But when somebody gets interested in getting married, you bless the marriage of that person.
Okay, you mean the slaves are getting married?
No, the Europeans.
The Europeans, getting married. To who? To the women?
The Africans outside.
Oh, they were getting married to Africans outside?
Oh yes, some of the merchants did. And as time went on, we had what they call the half caste, the mixed race. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So we're still looking around. Wow, this is so interesting.
Again, we see the dungeon, a typical dungeon I would not speak.
Oh, thank you, sir, for the slaves.
The largest of them.
The largest of them.
Talk of 100 to 150 people here.
100 to 150 people. Wow.
And
wow.
Eventually, go to the toilet.
And these are other tourists. I mean, they're tourists. They're here to see the Elmina castle.
When the ships actually had come, the women were taken from the dungeons, put in chains, led down this way to the room, and from there to the last point we call it room of no return. So that's why they were finally given to the boats and they were taken away. Yeah. These bars were put there not long ago just to avoid accidents. And before there were stairs where they descended. But then now, because we are not using the water tank, we've made a drainage over here so that when it rains, water would collect in and then go away. So we do not have the steps here as at this time. So we can move on to see the room of no return.
So, sir, how were the slaves captured? You told me how the slaves were captured. You know, were they normal people living normal lives? And then you just tell us how they were captured, how it all happened.
How they were captured. They were people living normal lives. And if you want to go into specifics, you have to divide it into three. One, we have the Europeans capturing people themselves. We have the movement of Africans to gather Africans. And then we had Africans also who gathered people, brought them down to the so-called traders, and from them to the Europeans. And one thing that actually brought in most actually came through intertribal wars. So the more they had wars, the more they were prisoners of wars, and the more they were exchanged mostly for weapons. And that's why the Europeans are accused of masterminding most of these wars. And even before we enter, we should also know that apart from these two cells, all other rooms on the ground floor were dungeons for men. On top all around were residences for soldiers, traders, and pastors. Then we have the deputy governor following, and then the judge.
And so I can see that with skeleton, that door with the skeleton.
Yes.
What does it signify?
Well, that's what the contains here. You know, in the castle, some of them were fighting for their freedom. So the leaders of these freedom fighters were captured and put in there. They were not given food, more water, and something.
So they died, so they were captured there.
Sure.
Oh.
Some called it don't waste the bullet.
Wow, some call it don't waste the bullet. Wow. This is an engraving on the wall that says, in everlasting memory of the anguish of our ancestors, may those who died rest in peace. May those who return find their roots. May humanity never again perpetrate such injustice against humanity. We, the living, vow to uphold this. Amen.
Countries in Africa started getting their independence. Everyone had been trying to sort of reconciling the African people all over the world, one way or the other. Now, in the early part of the 1990s, the chiefs in Ghana had their time. There is a ceremony here called Fiha, meaning that when you were growing, you never had the chance to say goodbye. After the ceremony, they went to the United States. They had long discussions, not only with Africans in America, but all over the world. And when they came back, this came up. So going through the dungeons always ought to be an everlasting memory of the anguish of our ancestors. It should compel us to pray for those who died to rest in peace, those who love to return find their roots, and that man never again be given the chance to commit such crimes against him, and with that living ought to vow to uphold us. So as we go out, we carry the responsibility of doing what we can in our own homes, making sure this will never again repeat itself.
Okay, and I see the Portuguese church.
This is the church at the center of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
In those days, yeah.
It's part of all the things that were going on with the church.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the governor was going to church too after doing all those atrocities to people.
Absolutely. Wow. I don't think they saw Christianity the way Christianity is today. They saw it to be a tool to be used to perpetuate the crimes of injustice.
And so that's the male. What's that, sir?
Yeah, all the rooms on the ground, all the
male dungeons, and then the higher they go, the hierarchy. That's for the soldiers.
Yes.
First floor, second floor, so up to the governor.
Yeah, the soldiers were occupying this level. So soldiers, traders, pastors were on this level, following the deputy governor, and then
Okay, how about that? The balcony, then 2 cents.
Now, this takes you further up to the governor's place actually. Yes. Over there we have the talisman. The W sign is said to be initial of the millions of orange. Other historians portray this to be the logo for the Dutch West Indies Company. And on both sides of it is alleged to be a family coat of arms of the governor and his wife. And below is a magazine where they kept ammunition. And on top was where the governor would have for the degrees and give out instructions to the soldiers.
Growing up in life, I made a lot of wrong choices, but God saved me with His mighty hand. Read my book, Who Am I I Am? It is a story of my life. It is about the redeeming power of God. My book, Who Am I I Am, is sold worldwide on Amazon. Thank you.
slave engine. This point was the transit engine for the men. So when the ships came, those two will be taken from the dungeons themselves, and from here to the room of return. And over here, some of them were drunk, they put the stamps in fire, smear the point they want to burn the oil, and they put the stamp on the fire and burn it into the sea. And this hole here and this one there was the light and air. Yeah.
So the burning will say to who the slave belongs to, if it's for instance Mr. White or Mr. Gray.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one side of it. The other side is where they take it from.
Wow. So where they take it from? So they will each fit them eventually.
Not even that, but for the merchants to process of things.
Wow, they could and transported them. Wow. So this is the point of no return.
This is further down.
Okay, so where the points are waiting. So let's go to the point of no return. You can see Simon says slave exit to waiting rooms. So let's go. Let's go into the point. No, so this is the point of no return. You can see the sea. You know, the slaves were taken here. You know, to the Caribbean, to Jamaica, to America, to work on the plantations in Jamaica, in the West Indies, you know, and boats were waiting to take them away.
Growing up in life, I made a lot of wrong choices, but God saved me with His mighty hand. Read my book, Who Am I I Am? It is a story of my life. It is about the redeeming power of God. My book, Who Am I Am, is sold worldwide on Amazon. Thank you.
Let's go into the Portuguese church. Portuguese church. Well, right inside the Portuguese church, we have a soldier's mess during slave trade. This is where the soldiers used to sit down to have drinks and all of that.
Yeah.
Right inside the church.
Was done right by the Dutch.
By the Dutch people. The Dutch.
So you have a museum here. When the Dutch took over, they converted it to be the Prussian law. When the British also took over, they converted it into classrooms. A modern museum for you with the images of Elmina across the centuries.
Wow.
So wonderful on your own is a private museum.
That's right, it has the title.
Okay, these are the kings.
Yeah.
So this is the king, this is like the chiefs.
Yeah, the chief.
This is the chief, this is the queen mother.
Yes.
This is the queen mother. This is the
There's an occasion where, yeah, you have a traditional drummers and other things, women in the market selling to the fellow women.
queen mother again.
It's not a queen mother actually, but it is a kind of a hairstyle occasion. They call it tikwa in our local
dialect.
Yeah. Then you have a blacksmith at a shop. You have the view at the courtyard of the castle previously. And you have a king in the state being carried and under umbrella in there. So a lot to see.
Growing up in life, I made a lot of wrong choices, but God saved me with His mighty hand. Read my book, Who Am I Am? It is a story of my life. It is about the redeeming power of God. My book, Who Am I Am, is sold worldwide on Amazon. Thank you.
This is the Ghana women in their cultural hairdo and clothing. These are more pictures of Ghana. This is the king. This is how the king moves around, even in recent times, in the palanquin. You see, it's all very traditional, very classy, very different. And see the women in their traditional hairdo, dancing, welcoming the king. And this is the chief making a speech. This is the sea, Elmina Sea, with small boats. You can see this film. And this is a traditional day with, traditional cultural day. You can see the young women, the youths dancing in their cultural attire. This is the Ashanti at Elmina. This picture, you can see, was taken in 1881 of the Nana Akwesi Ageman Kurempe one. You can see his clothing, you can see his crown and the royal slippers. Right now, Bantuma, the village around the Elmina castle. This is the main street of Edina Bantuma, the district court, sited in the area referred to as Government Garden during the Dutch period. This building appears to have been built as a courtroom in the early 1950s. This is Victorian-style mission house in colonial time. The fishing community, a traditional building, in the cultural hairdo. Okay, this is Amona at the funeral in Ghana. This is how they appear with their mourning in Ghana. These are women as a dobber. You can see them colorful clothing. The Elmina fish market. A swan, too, chief of Edina Abina. You can see in its regalia. And this is the late Nana Kondo at the fort. You can see the John Castle and archaeological site. The fort at St. Jago. You can see the fort again here at St. Jago. The fort. And now this picture, you see here, show the trade in West Africa. You can see this is how things were done in those days in the slave trade era. See the soldiers, the Portuguese soldiers, you see them marching up and down. This is so this is the impact of European contact. You can see we have school children here. I mean, that's the positive thing that I see from all the sad stories, from all the sadness surrounding the Elmina, is that at least they got, education. So we thank God for that. So you can see these are the school children, this is the school building. These are children being baptized in church. This is mass service at the wedding ceremony. And then this is the man with his kids, lovely children. And then you can see multiracialism, because of the Portuguese coming in, the slave trade, so you can see we have mixed children too. Beautiful children. Well, this talks about the importance of European crops to create local staples. And these are the forts, this is the Elmina castle, and these are the ammunition, that were used for attack. This is caught in session in the colonial times. You can see the colonial masters caught in session in the colonial era. This is the court building in Elmina. You can see a Negro or Negress kneeling down, in kneeling position here. This picture was taken in 1637, this, at the Elmina Castle. So this was taken in the Elmina Castle, 1637. These are the chains that the slaves wore. These are the actual chains that were worn by the slaves. These are the shackles around their feet and their hands. These are the real chains that were worn by the slaves. You can see slave trade. The Portuguese in the 15th century started exporting slaves from West Africa to Europe and the Americas across the Atlantic Ocean. Other European powers, the Danes, Dutch, English, French, Germans, and the Swedes soon joined in the trade, which spans 2 centuries. Elmina was trade post for the Portuguese 1482 to 1637, and the Dutch 1637 to 1872. Slaves were exported from Elmina in horrifying conditions to agricultural plantations and mines in the Americas and the Caribbean. Besides trade, African soldiers were recruited during the Dutch period and sent from Elmina to other Dutch colonies, such as Java in Indonesia, as part of the Dutch army. So these are the chains originally worn by the slaves. On their hands and around their feet, there's the shackles around their feet. Elmina Castle. It's such a big place. Everybody wants to see what's happening here. It's a touching story. Wow. So I hope you enjoyed looking around the Elmina Castle. And I must say that if you come to Ghana, you haven't been to Elmina Castle, I don't think you've seen Ghana. Because this place has got, it's got history here. There's history here at the Elmina Castle.
God told me to exchange my negative lifestyle and excessive drinking for choreography. And so at the age of 42, I started choreographing songs for God. At the age of 48, I choreographed the song Aka Jehovah by Gabriel Ezeashi. Aka Jehovah means that the hand of God is doing great things. Let's enjoy.